Hey there Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to another video. Okay, so in today's video we're going to be talking about the 5 things that you need to know about this new moon, partial new moon solar eclipse in Taurus, taking place on the 30th of April 2022. Though, before we do dive into today's video, I would like to know what are some things that you think others should know about this new moon. Please let us know in the comment section. I, of course, will be talking about 5, but I'm sure there are plenty more. Okay, so I do hope that you find this video to be helpful and useful. So on that note, let's do this. Alright, so the first thing that you need to know about this partial new moon solar eclipse in Taurus is that it will conjunct the sun in Taurus at 10 degrees, creating the number 1 in numerological terms. Now, this is the number of the pioneer, the innovator, the leader. 1 represents self-motivation, determination, courage, bravery, and creative visualization. It is associated with new beginnings and fresh starts. And with this being a new moon eclipse, well, what a powerful combination. Truly, if there is something you want to start, you can use this new moon to set those intentions, to plant those seeds. Particularly if you want to start something new when it comes to things like finances, stability, wealth, talents, your earning potential, or also self-worth. Though on that note, I want you to think back to November 2021 because there was a full moon partial lunar eclipse in the sign of Taurus. And that took place on the 19th of November. And during this time, you may have been finishing things up and closing a few chapters when it comes to those Taurus themes that I just mentioned. But coming into this new cycle, it's time to reflect, it's time to go inward once again. So for example, maybe you want to budget or save in a new way. Or maybe you seek greater appreciation and recognition for your skills. Or maybe you are wanting to save for a mortgage or for a new car. Or it could be that you're planning on moving to a new place, but you must consider a realistic and sustainable plan. You want to strategize in a new way. Perhaps you are seeking better pay, or it's that your income is called to question. Therefore, during this new moon eclipse, consider what you're building. What seeds would you like to plant, and which seeds have you already planted but you want things to grow? Perhaps you've been patiently waiting for something to materialize, and then even looking at your self-worth, perhaps you've been working on yourself. You've been gradually learning to appreciate yourself more, build yourself up more. Maybe there's something about your character that is hindering your growth. Maybe you are reluctant to change. Staying in your comfort zone seems more safe and secure. And so during this new moon eclipse, perhaps these types of things, they come up and you feel these things deeply. You could very well feel overwhelmed given how impactful and powerful eclipses can be. And so on that note, consider how much you're resting. Consider how often you relax. Maybe You are the type of someone or the type of person who overworks, and so you need some rest and you need relaxation. Or maybe you're someone who lounges about a little bit too much and it's your own stubbornness that keeps you from making physical changes. Essentially, during this new moon eclipse in Taurus, perhaps you reflect upon things like stability, security, comfort, desires, pleasures, work, savings, value, materials, and patience. Perhaps you also consider your loyalty. You consider reliability and trustworthiness. So, are you loyal to those you cherish? How reliable are you? Can you be trusted? Perhaps you have grown when it comes to these things, but there are some new intentions you would like to set. Now, before we get into these examples, also keep in mind the North Node is in Taurus during this new moon eclipse. It may not be conjunct the new moon, but with the North Node being in Taurus, it can suggest us getting outside of our comfort zone. Perhaps whatever comes up, whatever we feel during this new moon eclipse, well, it feels like destiny, like it's part of our purpose. Right, so let's say that this new moon eclipse is taking place in your first house. So looking at you, Taurus, Sun, Moon, and risings. Perhaps during this new moon eclipse, you set new powerful intentions when it comes to your life path, when it comes to your direction. Maybe there is a certain level of income you would like to make, or maybe you focus greatly on your security. You reflect heavily upon a plan that you are willing to commit yourself to. It could be that you are planning to move, or you're planning on starting a new job. Then again, perhaps you contemplate your loyalty towards certain people and things in your life, such as your loyalty to your job or your loyalty towards your family or your partner. Or maybe there's a skill you're working on, a skill that could possibly generate some type of income in the future. Or let's say this new moon eclipse is taking place in your 9th house. So looking at you, Virgo, Sun, Moon, and risings. Perhaps during this new moon eclipse, you set new powerful intentions when it comes to publishing, broadcasting, or teaching. Maybe there is a course or a book you would really like to publish in the future, or you're building towards that. Or maybe you want to have a stream of income from things that you broadcast and share. Then again, perhaps you reflect heavily upon a travel plan. Maybe you would like to go on holiday so that you can relax and have a really pleasurable experience. I mean, I know for me, I have a Virgo rising and I'm just itching to go on holiday, and I've been saving for it. Though on the other hand, perhaps you contemplate your loyalty to a particular belief system, or maybe you want to further your education and you're willing to commit to a program. Or let's say this new moon eclipse is taking place in your 5th house. So looking at you, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and risings. Perhaps during this new moon eclipse, you set new powerful intentions when it comes to your creative projects and your artwork. Maybe there is something creative that you've been working on and you wish to earn money from it. Or maybe you decide to sell your artwork, or you decide to open up a shop where you sell your creations. Though on the other hand, maybe you reflect heavily upon the things that bring you joy and happiness, upon the things that you just enjoy the most, those things that you do in your spare time that light you up. Maybe you would like some time to shop, or bake, or cook, or garden, or decorate. Or maybe you need some time off, some time to yourself. Or quite possibly here, you contemplate your loyalty towards your romantic partner, or you reflect upon your love life or your dating life. Or maybe you would like to spend more quality time with your lover. Or perhaps it's that, well, there's something about children, okay? Maybe the birth of a child, falling pregnant, and then creating a plan there and looking at your loyalty. The second thing that you need to know about this new moon eclipse in Taurus is that both the moon and the sun in Taurus will conjunct Uranus in Taurus during it. Now, Uranus has been in the sign of Taurus since 2018, and this transit has been bringing up themes to do with sudden changes and futurism in association with money, security, and pleasure, and so on. Things have been pretty financially and physically unstable. That holding and supporting energy that comes with Taurus has been shaken up. And so during this new moon eclipse, perhaps you feel shaken up. Perhaps you feel somewhat all over the place. You realize that nothing stays the same and everything changes. Everything is changing at a rapid speed. And so as we set these new powerful intentions, as we plant those new powerful seeds, perhaps we also consider rapid change, non-conformity, creating a difference, and breaking free. Maybe we feel a strong push to obtain financial freedom or to free ourselves from financial and physical shackles that make us feel stuck. So whilst we may feel nervous, restless, and chaotic, we may also feel hopeful. We possess wishful thinking. We are idealistic. We try to see the possibilities, and we are inventive. And we also consider our independence. So let's say this new moon eclipse is taking place in your second house. So looking at you Aries, sun, moon, and risings. Perhaps as you are setting new powerful intentions when it comes to your financial position and physical security, you also consider what you can do differently, what you can change so you can keep up with the environmental and social changes that are happening. Maybe you wish to set yourself free from an expense or a bill that just isn't working anymore. Maybe you invent a new plan when it comes to saving or earning or spending. Then again, perhaps you don't conform to how everybody else is spending their money. You consider your material and security independence and don't give in to societal norms. Or let's say this new moon eclipse is taking place in your 10th house, so looking at you Leo, sun, moon, and risings. Perhaps as you are setting new powerful intentions when it comes to your long-term achievements, when it comes to your profession, you also consider your freedom and independence. You consider what you can do so you don't have to conform to professional pressures and expectations. Maybe you seek to liberate yourself from a reputation that has been made up due to public opinion, or maybe you come up with a new long-term plan which can result in greater freedom later in life. Then again, perhaps you set out to free yourself from particular responsibilities that simply do not align with you anymore or with what you're aiming to achieve. Or let's say this new moon eclipse is taking place in your 6th house, so looking at you Sagittarius, sun, moon, and risings. Perhaps as you are setting new powerful intentions when it comes to your working life and daily routines, you also consider how you can switch things up, how you can do things differently, so you can feel healthier, so you can feel better. Perhaps there are huge changes that you wish to make when it comes to your diet or when it comes to your fitness routines, or maybe you seek to set yourself free from outdated routines that only feel suffocating. Perhaps you choose not to conform to everybody else's way of looking after themselves, and you seek to do things your own way. Then again, it could be that you invent a new working plan, a plan that meets your daily habits and needs. The third thing that you need to know about this new moon eclipse in Taurus is that the moon and the sun will sextile Mars in Pisces during it. Now, with Mars in Pisces, we may be considering our creative and artistic goals, or we may be more willing to face the unknown, to embrace the what ifs and the could be's in life, we are more likely to trust the flow, to trust the process. And we may also be more open to exploring our wildest dreams and fantasies. Therefore, during this new moon eclipse, perhaps you feel somewhat calm and serene about these new intentions, or you're open to receiving, you're open to new possibilities. And if you do feel super chaotic, super overwhelmed, and just all over the place, as I mentioned, with the Uranus energy and with the eclipse energy, well, perhaps trying to remain still is important. Trying to not rush, trying to not push, just allowing for things to develop on their own, at their own speed, rather than trying to force things to happen. Then again, I do also understand that it's a lot easier said than done. So essentially, I think patience here is a big theme. Moreover, compassion is important. And if you can rest, take some time to rest. Take some time to breathe. And you know, it's interesting because I was at the gym this morning and I was taking in a few really deep breaths and it felt really nice. Yeah, this moon, sure, it also represents a time for us to be innovative and to be brave. It's a time for us to use our creative vision, like I was saying with the number 1 energy. But with Mars being in Pisces, perhaps we don't need to push so hard. Perhaps we can give ourselves some time to dream. So let's say this new moon eclipse is taking place in your 12th house. So looking at you Gemini, Sun, Moon and Risings. This means Mars in Pisces is transiting your 10th house. Perhaps you take some time to dream and go inward when it comes to your professional life. Perhaps you use creative visualization to come up with a wonderful plan, a plan that feels right, a plan associated with materializing your wildest dreams, or maybe you focus on truly recharging, truly unplugging. Perhaps you meditate, or you do some yoga, or you do some crystal work, or you pull a few tarot cards, or perhaps you perform a moon ritual with candles, or you soak in a nice bath and you relax. Maybe you have these creative and artistic goals in mind when it comes to your career path or your public image, but instead of feeling like you must force things, you lean into things patiently. Or let's say this new moon eclipse is taking place in your 8th house, so looking at you Libra, Sun, Moon and Risings. This means Mars in Pisces is transiting your 6th house. So perhaps you can take some time to dream and go inward when it comes to your daily lifestyle, when it comes to your line of work. Maybe a loved one supports you emotionally, or they help you with a daily task or with your daily tasks and responsibilities. Or it could be that clearing debt makes you feel less worried or stressed out, or perhaps you put a practical plan in place when it comes to shared resources and finances, but at the same time, you don't push so hard. By taking small steps each day, you know you'll get there, you trust the process, or perhaps your vulnerability results in you feeling healthier. Perhaps you don't feel so overwhelmed, or maybe you heal in some way when it comes to your mental or physical health and well-being. Maybe there are a few creative goals you're hoping to achieve at work even, and you receive financial support. 4th thing then that you need to know about this new moon eclipse in Taurus is that the moon and sun will semi-square Venus, Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces during it. Now keep in mind that Venus is the ruler of Taurus within astrology, and semi-squares can point towards some stress, some tension. They aren't as strong as the square aspect, but some tension can play out between the 2 or more planets involved. Now, interestingly, Venus and Jupiter are both 27 degrees during this new moon eclipse, suggesting great luck and fortune when it comes to love and emotional closeness. Maybe we feel extra loving and empathetic and sensitive and emotional during this new moon eclipse. Maybe we feel huge desire to be open and receptive, or maybe we are more willing to let down our walls. And then with Neptune entering the picture, coming into the equation, we may be highly idealistic and dreamy, but we may also become delusional and fall for things that aren't even true. We may give in to things that we normally wouldn't, or we may blindly become hopeful. We could very well dissolve our identity to merge with another person, or we could drown in another person's sorrows and victimhood. Or we may believe in false loyalty and deception. Consider these things when it comes to your security and finances and self-worth and so on. Also, consider any fears that come up, because often it's our fears that can be deceptive. It's our fears that can hold us back from believing in ourselves, for example, or they can keep us from achieving something we desire. So on that note, let's say this new moon eclipse is taking place in your 4th house. So looking at you, Aquarius, sun, moon and risings. This means Venus, Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces are transiting your 2nd house. Perhaps as you are setting new powerful intentions when it comes to establishing your own home or family, you also possess these high hopes when it comes to your finances and your earning potential. Maybe you are open to receiving more, or maybe you feel pretty lucky and blessed, but at the same time, you feel tense. Tension when it comes to having enough, or tension when it comes to feeling secure and at peace. Maybe you experience fears in relation to your saving or your spending habits, and it's these fears that are irrational or untrue. Or maybe there are things you're falling for in relation to your earning or in relation to materials. Perhaps you're being too idealistic, or maybe you fear that your partner isn't being truthful. Or let's say this new moon eclipse is taking place in your 11th house. So looking at you, Cancer, sun, moon and risings. This means that Venus, Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces are transiting your 9th house. Perhaps as you set new powerful intentions when it comes to your hopes and wishes for the future, you also blindly follow certain beliefs. And maybe it's these beliefs that are deceptive, they stem from fear, or perhaps such false beliefs create tension and stress. Then again, maybe you are too idealistic when it comes to travel or furthering your education, or perhaps such things do not align with your future, or maybe you must prioritize things differently. Or it could be that you have hopes of doing some further training, educating yourself more, and you feel pretty blessed. But at the same time, maybe things are not quite what they seem. And the 5th and final thing that you need to know about this new moon eclipse in Taurus taking place on the 30th of April 2022 is that Venus, Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces will sextile Pluto retrograde in Capricorn during it. Now, sextiles often point towards support and aid. There is a supporting element to the placements involved, but in this case, consider the fact that Pluto will be retrograde. Therefore, we are reassessing our personal professional power, and we are reevaluating how we have transformed when it comes to discipline, commitment, responsibility, and structure. And so, with the sextile to these Pisces planets, perhaps as we re-examine these things, we also show ourselves kindness, empathy, and compassion. Maybe we forgive ourselves for times when we have been possessive, controlling, paranoid, suspicious, jealous, domineering. Or perhaps it's that we try to be more soft and gentle when it comes to destructive mistakes we've made in the past. Maybe we forgive ourselves for these things. However, what I will say is, well, it could very well be that you go to some dark places during this time. You might feel like you're sinking or you're drowning in your emotions. On that note, be aware of self-medicating or addictive tendencies. Maybe it feels as though you can't cope emotionally, and if this is the case, it may be a beneficial thing, a good idea, to reach out for help, to reach out for support. Though on the other hand, it could be that you make major emotional breakthroughs in association with your personal power and your inner guide. Perhaps you courageously address things that you have buried underneath for a long time. Just be aware of the urge to numb any pain. So let's say this new moon eclipse is taking place in your 7th house, so looking at you Scorpio sun, moon and risings. This means Venus, Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces are transiting your 5th house, and Pluto in Capricorn is transiting your 3rd house. So as you are setting new powerful intentions when it comes to your relationships, you also re-examine any destructive thought patterns or communication patterns or blockages. But as you reflect upon these things, maybe a romantic partner is very caring towards you. They show kindness and patience. Maybe you turn to your partner for practical support. Then again, perhaps it's art that soothes you and moves you. It's things like music or dance or painting. Maybe you forgive yourself for any cruel or mean words you've said, or maybe you turn to a friend or to your significant other. If your thoughts, if they start to spiral out of control, you basically turn to these people for some support. Or let's say this new moon eclipse is taking place in your 3rd house, so looking at you Pisces sun, moon and risings. This means Venus, Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces are transiting your 1st house, and Pluto in Capricorn is transiting your 11th house. So as you are setting new powerful intentions when it comes to how you communicate and interact with others, you also reevaluate any destructive ways you've behaved within your social groups and wider networks. But as you reflect upon such things, perhaps you practice self-compassion and forgiveness, or maybe you realize that you are a very different person today in comparison to who you used to be, and you reflect on how much you have changed, how much you've just grown as a person. Or it could be that you want to have more rewarding conversations with others, but in order to do that, you let go of judgment, not only towards others, but towards yourself as well. Okay then, Cosmic Warriors, so that concludes my video talking about the 5 things that you need to know about this partial new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Taurus, taking place on the 30th of April 2022. Now again, if you do have any other things that you would like to share, so other things that you think others need to know, then let us know in the comment section. Also, if you have any thoughts and opinions on today's video, then let us know down below. But on that note, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And of course, if you would like to see more videos from myself and you have not yet subscribed, then make sure that you click that subscribe button, and also give this video a like if you did like it. And I will be back with another video very, very soon. Happy eclipse. Bye.